It is official. I was wrong. I should be wearing my green shirt that says swing and a miss. Folks, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I called for the Fed to cut 50 basis points today, and they did not. We only got a quarter. And frankly, in a shocking move, only one Fed president asked for a 50, and that was the newest member that was just confirmed on Monday. So that means Christopher Waller and Michelle Bowman did not ask for 50. So we got a quarter. They did not admit their July mistake. We have yet to hear from Jerome Powell. He'll be talking in a half hour. But we've got the one and only Matt, the mortgage guy, here with a live ticker answering the question that you all want to know about. Are mortgage rates going down? They staying flat, or heaven forbid, going up now that the Fed is cut? Matt, what say you? What's going on?
Yeah, part of me is just relieved that this day is here. So people will stop waiting for this moment in time, which we all know. I mean, well, I shouldn't say we all know. Those of us who know that all of this anticipation, this 25 basis point rate cut. I know, you were betting on a 1 in 20 long shot, or 1 in 25 long shot, whatever it was, 4 or 5% that we got 50 basis points. But we knew this was coming. And so mortgage rates today are probably, and so far from what I'm seeing, right, we haven't heard Jerome Powell's comments, which will move markets one way or another, or flat. Rates aren't going to move today because of a 25 point cut that we knew was coming, right? Like, that's why we've seen rates come down the last 3, 4, 6 weeks, is because we knew this cut was coming. And so, like you mentioned, they cut 25 basis points. They mentioned cutting 2 more times before the end of the year, which I think is more aggressive than expected. At least the markets, from what I saw, like, they were factoring in 2.2 cuts by the end of the year.
Yeah, the 10-year is already down. It was flat going into this presser. It's now down 1.5 points. I do think the dot plot, to your point, was more dovish than expected. Last time they did this, they were only expecting 2 cuts, now 3. So that is a move. That's a 50% move, right? Go from 2 to 3. I actually think one of the most shocking things was this vote was 11-1. I actually thought it might have been a 3-way split. Some presidents saying 0, some saying a quarter, and some saying 50. The fact that 11 said go a quarter and then the 12th said 50 is I think there's a recognition that the job market is weak and getting weaker.
Right. Yeah. To have nobody saying 0 to me is probably even more surprising that we didn't get more than one saying let's go 50. Because in my opinion, like, fighting for 50 when you've got 2 more before the end of the year, like, do them in segments. Do 25 3 times in a row. It's, for all intents and purposes, the same thing as doing a 50, a 25, and a 0.
Where the 10 years reacting, it's now down 2 basis points just since we started talking. So
4.01. Will it crack below 4% today, Mr.
Well, actually, I just looking right now, 4.003.
Ooh, man, you must have some inside track. You must be ahead of me.
There you go. Well, again, just wait till Jerome Powell gets in, because again, I think at this point, Jerome Powell can move the market himself, right? He could initiate, right? If he pulls a Jackson Hole, and if you don't remember what Jackson Hole was like, he was a lot more dovish than the market expected. I think there's a lot of people that expect Jerome Powell to be a hawk because he, quote unquote, hates Trump. But I think Jerome Powell's playing for his legacy, and he knows that the moniker of too late is a fair moniker, right? He was too late to raise and too late to lower. So he could get up in front, in another 24 minutes and basically say a rate cutting cycle has started. And that will be dovish. And if he does, rates are going, the 10-year is going sub 4.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we shall see. It'll be interesting to see too, because I'm having more conversations than ever around rates. And there's, 2 different discussions we can have. One is around refinance and people who are, either, yes, this makes sense, and they press play, or like some clients I have, quite honestly, great deal, saves them hundreds of dollars per month, going from $7 to $5.99, and they go, pause. I think rates will go further, and docs are out for them to sign. I just saw $3.99. I just saw it on my ticker. So we might be below 4%.
Yep, 399. There we go. 399.
There's that camp. But I think the important conversation I'd love to have is around, the real estate market as a whole. What this will do if rates continue to come down.
Well, so let's actually talk about 3 levers, because I tried to talk about that on my channel. I think the first one is, or I've already been proven right. Last week, you and I had a show where I said the refi market's booming, and we saw the numbers today, up 70% year on year, 48% week on week, right? So, and I think you nailed it last week. What's happening right now is there were a lot of people that bought into the strategy of marry the house, date the rate. They did 2-1 buy downs. And frankly, for the longest time, that was looking like a horrible decision. They were getting effed. However, now they're lucky. They just got lucky. And I think there's a lot of people that were in that camp that are refining as fast as possible. So that's what I think is happening right now. That's step 1.
Yeah.
Step 2. Go ahead.
I just wanted to interject something real quick. I talked to somebody yesterday. It was the second conversation I've had around this. And then sorry for the interruption. I'll let you continue. Yeah. People that bought in the last 24 months reached a little bit. And like this client told me yesterday, Matt, it wasn't just part of the plan. It was like necessity. Like,
yeah, it was,
we knew
yeah,
we're buying at this, price and this rate. We can't afford for this thing to step up. Like 4,600 is our max. When it goes to 5,100, that is going to, like, we don't know what we're going to do. So, like, to your point, a little bit of luck. They got lucky. But it was out of necessity. So onward. Yeah. I just want to interject with that.
No, that's exactly what's happening. So we saw a 70% spike year on year, 48% week on week. That's because people got lucky. But, sometimes better to be lucky than good, so they're refining. The mortgage business, your business is picking up because of this. Here's step 2. And this one, we go 39 shit. We're at 3997 right now. I just flashed on my screen. Holy cow. So we go much lower. We go below 6 on the average, which means some people could be in the 4s, right? So let's just think this, right? If the average gets published by Mortgage Business Daily at 599, and just for clarity, yesterday was 6.13, so it's close. There will be people, and correct me if I'm wrong, that with a point or less could be getting something with a 4 handle. Is that correct? Usually,
might be a little bit of a stretch, but
okay.
But
all right,
but
if average is 599, it's fair to say that means half the people are getting below 599.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. People are buying it down, or people are, 800 credit and 60%
25% down, all that stuff. Right. So again, the idea here, the idea for step 2 for me is cash out refi. And this is the thing that I don't think anybody else is talking about. We have record home equity, record. And a lot of that's just been locked up because rates were too high. It was too expensive to tap it. You go get something in the 5s. The next step of this cycle for you is cash out refi. And that's coming. That's coming. Now for the big question.
Yeah.
No, it's coming. Here's the big one. This is really what you asked. It's step 3. What unlocks the buyers? And I've often said it's 599, something with a 5 handle. We'll see if we get there. But it's something in the 5s. It might be 5.5. But demand has been compressed for 3 years. And I just can't imagine demand waiting for next spring. Why would you wait for next spring when all the competition comes back? Wouldn't you try to buy something today, get the seller to give you credits or points, buy down your rate on the seller's dime, not your dime? I got to think that the third leg of this stool is purchases. So again, rate and term already started, happening right now. Cash out refi is next and will be soon. And then purchases. What say you?
Yeah, you're 100% right. Like rate and term refinance, it was something like 13 or 14 million that I plugged in the last couple of weeks in rate and term refinance.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then cash out, like not only is it going to make more sense, from a rate standpoint, but people have never been more stretched, more, overloaded with debt. We had somebody at a meeting I was at yesterday talk about, California and the average credit card debt, which we lead the nation in a lot of things, and that's one of them. So
great.
So for sure, people are going to tap equity because
It's
the
coming.
numbers are going to make a little bit more sense. And then quite honestly, some of them like just need to do it because they're in a tight spot. And that's the place where they can pull to get some relief. And, it's their oxygen mask financially. But third, so many interesting conversations. And this is where, I'm not reading stats and I'm not digging into economic reports. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing on the street. Conversation after conversation after conversation with real estate agent. And yesterday it was 2 or 3 agents who are great agents and they really have a finger on the pulse. And I just asked them the question, like, what are you hearing? What are you feeling? And there is still a disconnect between buyers and sellers. And so sellers are on the market for 100 days and have no idea why. And you can't explain to a seller math. Just like, hey, you'd love to sell for 700, but a $5,500 a month payment doesn't make sense to a first-time home buyer. So your house will continue to sit unless you lower the price. And sorry, your neighbor sold at the very peak and got lucky maybe to sell for 705. We're not in that market anymore. And then buyers, on the other hand, are out like just so, I guess, selective, picky, whatever word you want to use. And no house is good enough. No price reduction is enough. And so like they're too far apart, buyers and sellers. And I think this is a lot of markets. And so as the payments come down, the buyers start to inch a little bit closer. I can pay a little bit more, and maybe sellers over time, sometimes 3 months on the market will do this to you. They start to come back a little bit. And so that's what's going to cause, the numbers to finally come back, volume wise in real estate.
And that is why it's step 3. I absolutely think this is how the dominoes fall. Rate and term has already started. It was like a 100-meter sprint. Once the gun went off, people just said, save me, to your point, right? I stretched. I frankly overpaid and save me. It's I can't think of any other word. Save me. The cash out refi, boy, dude, that's like smoldering right now. We get rates just to drift a little bit lower and we stay there. We stay here for a month. You're going to get more and more homeowners going, you know what, honey? I'm tired of paying 30% interest on my credit cards. I'm tired of paying 11% on my car loan. Let's do something, right? And again, folks, be smart. Work with a mortgage broker who can tell you second, refi, there's lots of ways to extract it. Body shops, call centers don't have your best interest in mind. So work with a professional. But it is step 3 that is really what fixes the housing market, right? We got to get transactions up. And actually, it's just curious to me, the timing, right? We get rates drifting lower, and then we have a president who says that he's going to declare a national housing emergency. Could we see, Bank of America, I don't know if you saw this, Bank of America says the Fed should buy mortgage-backed securities again, and that would push mortgage rates to a 5.0.
Wow.
5%. That would be wild.
Well, I mean, we're not too far from a new Fed president. So like, depending on who gets in, like these things aren't that far off to imagine, happening. Which, I'm all for. The one hope I have, because me and you, know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. You can't just continue to steroid up the demand side and not have unintended consequences, which is you're going to push prices up. You're going to push people out. And all of a sudden, some markets that I operate in, a first time, like entry-level house being $700,000 because we've lowered rates and we've injected, steroids into demand. Like that's going to hurt some people.
Oh, it's going to hurt a lot of people. Yeah. Well, I'm curious. We are obviously staring at the 10-year. I have it still up on my screen. Currently says 3.995. But what's going on mortgage-backed securities? Could we look for lower rates by the end of the day, you think?
I think so. I'm showing 18 points better.
Now translate that for the average person. 18 points in a mortgage is not 18 points on a mortgage rate.
Right. Yeah. 18 basis points means if the 5.99% or 5.875 or whatever the number is was a half a point cost, you're getting a $400,000 loan, and your broker says in box A, $400,000 loan is half a point. It's $2,000. It's 0.5%, one half of 1%. If I tell you that we're 20 basis points better, we went from 50 basis points to buy that rate to now only 30. So you got better by
$400,
$800 on 20 basis points.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay.
And so 0.2% in cost. And if you want to know what that means in rate, it's probably 50 basis points between every eighth. And rate sheets don't.
All right. So again, 50 basis points between. So this is probably, I don't know. Because yesterday, we're guessing, folks. Yesterday's closing rate was 6.13. So would it be reasonable to think that we might close at 6.09 today? Reasonable?
Yeah, because I think if we say that, 50 basis points is going to get us 0.125, 20 is going to get us, 0.4, 0.5. So I think you're there. It's like,
dude, we're below 3.1 or below 3.1. I did strike that. Below 6.1. Below 6.1. So we're getting really close to 5.99. We could be there.
Yeah. And really, honestly, I think that the fireworks haven't started yet. We're recording this between the announcement of 25 basis points and between JP getting up and talking. 11:30 is when I'm really going to be watching this. And I've watched a lot of Fed meetings, and then I've watched this concurrently where like mortgage-backed securities are going to fluctuate. The 10 years.
There's a chance. There's a chance. I mean, it's not a great chance, but I mean, just yesterday, mortgage rates fell 12 basis points. So there's an outside chance we could be at 5.99 by the end of the day. If Jerome Powell gets up and is uber dovish, we're below 6 by the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think that it's worth mentioning, like, he might say the wrong things.
And it could go the other way.
We started the day. Yeah.
No question. Is Jerome, the question you got to ask yourself, and you'll know by the end of the day, was Jerome Powell a dove or was he a hawk? And that's where we're going.
The thing that like I can't get it out of my brain. So this is me just like being honest with you. I just want rates to go up so that people stop associating the Fed meeting with mortgage rates, right? Like I just want them to go like, what happened? And then a couple people learn from it, right? Because if rates go down today, Mike, then it's just like, oh yeah,
see, I told you. I'll wait.
September 17th, the Fed's cutting the mortgage. Like I get texts from my dad, Mike, and like Matt, the mortgage guy's dad, I can't talk any sense into him. He's just like,
that's hilarious.
Rates are going down on a Wednesday, I heard. I'm like, yep, Dad.
You're right, Dad. Cool.
Yep, for sure. Yep.
All right, folks, if you want to get a rate and term, cash out, get some purchase stuff doing, you got to work with professionals. Stop working with body shops and call centers. Work with the professionals. Where do they go, Matt?
Go to greatmortgagebroker.com. And on that point, like whether it's me or anybody else, talk to somebody who knows what they're doing. I have seen the most ridiculous loan estimates. I've seen some of like just stuff where I had to pause and I respond to people. I'm not the guy to talk smack, but based on this, I can tell you're not talking to somebody who knows what the F they're doing.
Right.
Small examples where I'm dealing with somebody who has property taxes that are $480 a month. And on the loan estimate, it shows $59 a month in property taxes. To the average consumer, they look at it, they're like, oh man, my payment's going down by $700. This is cool. Well, no, it's not. Your property taxes are off by $420 a month because some idiot, like, where did that number come from? And then, they're not collecting the proper amount of taxes or insurance, or they've misquoted the payoff. There's so many things where like the other numbers that go into the loan estimate, those numbers are only as good as the idiot who's inputting them. And if you're talking to an idiot, you're going to get bad info. I've tried to help as many people as I can, Mike. I can't help them all. Some people just can't be saved. There's a shiny object and there's good marketing and they just follow the light and then, wake up after they close and they paid $9,700 for what they thought was a great deal. And I could have done it for them for $3,000 or something. So
there you go.
If you want good, honest advice, sometimes it means don't do anything and just stay put. Go to greatmortgagebroker.com or find Mr. Matt, the mortgage guy online.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike.